Good evening and good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be part of the launch of a very timely and highly relevant book for the current times, Taxation, International Cooperation, and the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. I congratulate the authors and welcome the explicit focus of the book on developing countries. Particularly for Bhutan, a small landlocked least developed country on the cusp of graduation, where the role of domestic resource mobilization and most importantly, taxation would assume even greater significance, the book provides critical insights into implementation of tax incentives, strategies for domestic resource mobilization through strengthening the capacity of tax administration and international taxation and transfer pricing, among many others. Let me share a story of Bhutan while I work as the head of UNDP country office. Bhutan's socioeconomic development has been guided by the philosophy of gross national happiness, GNH, a multidimensional development framework that places people at the center of development. Emphasizing inclusiveness and sustainability, the country has achieved commendable socioeconomic and environmental outcomes. Some of the key achievements include sustainable reduction in poverty and carbon-negative green development agenda. The underlying principles of GNH has also increasingly received international recognition and acceptance as an alternate development model that offers a paradigm shift from the conventional singular focus on GDP and economic growth. As you can see, SDGs are closely aligned with GNH and are already integrated into the country's 5-year development plans. Currently, Bhutan is implementing its 12th plan, the last plan as an LDC, addressing last-mile challenges in all sectors to ensure smooth and sustainable graduation. While these efforts are notable, as is the case with all economies affected by the pandemic, the country is grappling to find ways to recover sustainably from the crisis. The youth unemployment rate, which was already very high pre-pandemic, went up to 22%. Debt level went up to 120% of GDP, and inequalities have certainly deepened. The fiscal position has particularly been affected with sharp increase in pandemic expenditures, coupled with loss in revenues from tourism, which has halted immediately after the first case was detected, and tax revenue has plummeted. These have all constrained the government's fiscal position and its ability to sustainably finance developmental needs. The government estimates a resource gap of over 13.5 billion nutrum in the fiscal year 2021. This is equivalent to fiscal deficit of over 7% of GDP, which is very high by conventional standards on maintaining deficit below 3%. It is further projected to rise to 17.2 billion nutrum in the financial year 2022, equivalent to 8.6% and expected to remain elevated in the medium term. This clearly shows the urgent need to enhance domestic revenue mobilization and the effective use to the pursuit of GNH and achievement of SDGs. Bhutan's Voluntary National Review 2021 of the SDGs concluded SDG 1, no poverty, SDG 4, quality education, 8, decent work and economic growth, 10, reduced inequalities, and 17, partnership for goals, particularly resource mobilization, are at risk of not being met by 2030. Accelerating progress on these goals would require substantial resources, both generated domestically and externally. Additionally, implementing Bhutan's Enhanced Nationally Determined Contributions 2021, or NDCs, with ambitious agenda of maintaining carbon neutrality requires $220 million, for which the government needs to aggressively find resources. Bhutan, aspiring to be a welfare state where health and education services are provided for free, financing these services is and will be a major challenge going forward. To bridge the growing inequality gap, effective redistribution of wealth is critical to ensure inclusive and sustainable socioeconomic and environmental outcomes, in line with the ethos of GNH and the broader objective of leaving no one behind. Historically, tax revenue has played a critical role in domestic resource mobilization, contributing over 70% to the total revenue in the past 5 years. In fact, tax to GDP ratio averaged 15% in the past 5 years, slightly above the South Asian and ASEAN averages. Building on the ongoing momentum, the government is implementing a host of reforms in taxation. It includes introduction of a comprehensive goods and services tax, GST, expected to be rolled out in July next year, amendment of Income Tax Act 2020, adoption of Property Tax Act of Bhutan, and the ongoing parliament is deliberating on sin tax. Recognizing the integrated and interconnectedness of taxation and achievement of SDGs, UNDP in Bhutan has recently embarked on a joint initiative with OECD called Tax Inspectors Without Borders, TIWB. This program is implemented by the Department of Revenue and Customs of Ministry of Finance with Indian Revenue Service as the partner administration. This is truly an exemplary partnership of South-South cooperation. We are already supporting the implementation by embedding the elements of the program in our existing activities, including through our joint integrated national financing framework, INFF, with UNICEF, to increase TIWB's developmental impact and ensure long-term sustainability. I am very pleased to share with you that implementation is progressing very well, and the Department of Revenue and Customs has expressed deep satisfaction with the support and desire to expand the scope of the activities. UNDP remains firmly committed to supporting Bhutan's access to new financing opportunities and transition to a more resilient and sustainable economy so that the SDG attainment will not be compromised despite fast shrinking physical spaces in the wake of the COVID crisis. Finally, I hope there will be more collaboration between academia and practitioners for evidence-based physical and inclusive economic policy making. I once again thank all of you for the opportunity given to me to share stories from Bhutan. Thank you.